Folks, you may be wondering, how do I get to be a part of a mailbag on NFL Daily? Well, if you subscribe to the channel, you can join our weekly live shows that we bring you on Tuesday afternoons. And if you turn on notifications, you'll be notified when we go live. That way, you too can use the hashtag NFL or Super Chat to get your questions on the show, and we'll answer them in real time. Subscribe now and join us for our next live mailbag here on NFL Daily. First question comes from Vince. Vince wants to know, hashtag NFL, should the Texans or Bears trade their quarterback if Stroud/Fields performs well, but they still end up with the number one pick from Cleveland or Carolina? Very fair, good question. Let's start with Houston's side of things. I think that if they see any promise out of C.J. Stroud, they're going to go ahead and go forward with C.J. Stroud, and that they'll trade that number one pick to try to get some draft capital or that top pick, whatever it may be, and build from there. As far as Justin Fields goes, I'll put it to you this way, folks. If he performs well, then they're not going to be picking in that position. They're not going to be in a spot to get a Caleb Williams or a Drake May to begin with. Okay? If they're in that position, then Justin Fields hasn't played well. That's where the talent level increase with the Chicago Bears is, that if Fields does well and does his part, that means everybody else is doing well as on top of that, and they're headed towards the right direction. So with that said, the only way that the Bears or the Texans move on from Stroud and Fields is if they struggle. Then they very well could end up in a position where they get one of those top quarterbacks. So that's where I look at it. I don't see either team moving on from their guy if they play well, but we'll see. Donald with the next question. Donald writes, if the Bears' O-line is at least adequate protecting him, what is Justin Fields' ceiling? I think when you look at Justin Fields, call me crazy, but I'm looking at his ceiling being similar to what Jalen Hurts did last year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Call that a hot take, whatever you want. As Justin Fields, or Jalen Hurts last year was the runner-up for the MVP and led the Eagles to the Super Bowl and had one of the best Super Bowl performances we've ever seen, despite his team losing. I think Justin Fields, at his ceiling, is capable to do what we saw from Jalen Hurts last year. Now, granted, Jalen Hurts had a lot more talented team around him than he did in Philadelphia. The Bears are headed the right direction, and their talent is dramatically improved over the last few months, but they're still another year away from being a serious contender. But I would say that talent level-wise, his ceiling is similar to Jalen Hurts. Timmy Turner, fairly odd parents checking in. Where's Cosmo and Wanda? If the Titans get off to a slow start, any chance they move on to Levis and trade Tannehill at the deadline? Timmy, very good question here. And from what we've heard, the Titans are taking this approach of a team like in Major League Baseball, okay? What we've heard is that the way the Titans organization is operating the 2023 season is like a baseball team of, all right, when we get to the deadline, we're going to be either buyers or sellers. Either it is a mass yard sale, we're trying to get everything off the lot, or they're going to be aggressive and they're going to make some moves to try to go contend and make a deep postseason run. It is going to be dramatic one way or the other for Tennessee, is what it sounds like the things are going on there. So with that said, what my expectation is that the Titans, if they get off to a slow start, they will trade Tannehill. They will trade Derrick Henry, probably DeAndre Hopkins too. And I don't think the Titans are going to be that great. So if I were to guess right now, I think Tannehill's getting traded. What do you guys think? Will the Titans trade Tannehill? Weigh in the comment section. Y for yes, N for no. Will we see Tannehill depart Tennessee during this season? Weigh in. Tell us what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Jordan D. writes, could the Falcons get another star receiver or another position to the roster before the start of the season? I think if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you kind of want to roll with what you got, these young pieces. They have a nice young core there. This is a team that should compete for the NFC South and I think that they're the favorites in the NFC South. I have them winning that division. I don't know if the Falcons are going to make another big move or not. They might just be who they are and kind of figure things out from there. But that is a fascinating football team to watch. I think Bijan Robinson's going to have a fantastic season in 2023. I think Desmond Ridder is better than what he's given credit for personally. The Falcons are an interesting team heading into this year. Just Jackson writes in, what will the Seahawks record be if they get into the playoffs? How far will they get? So right now, when you look at the Seattle Seahawks entering 2023, this is a team at the moment that I think is about an 11-6 football team, as is. And one thing that I have to remind people is that the Seahawks, their schedule, I think personally, is in a position where you have to respect your opponent, right? The Seahawks, you might say, wow, they look like one of the top 4 teams in the NFC, but they go through a tough gauntlet of games. Their schedule is not easy. It doesn't do them any favors. And so they're going to stack up losses. They might be better than what their record indicates compared to some other teams in the NFL because of how tough that schedule is going to be for Seattle this upcoming season. With that said, I think right now, 11 wins, you could probably get to the divisional round. But if Seattle makes a big splash, if they go get a defensive star of some sorts, whether it's a defensive tackle or an edge rusher of that type, then Seattle very well could be a contender for the NFC and potentially be a 13-win football team. That might be the difference there. So they're still a player away from taking that next step. Speaking of the Seahawks, we have their hats as well as other NFL hats on sale now at chatsports.com/NFL hats. All sorts of varieties. Flat bills, the ball cap style, whatever your favorite team is. We have all 32 teams and their different hat designs on sale now at chatsports.com/NFL hats. You can get yours, and you can get it in time for the NFL season as well. It's a great deal for all of our viewers of NFL Daily today. You can support your favorite team now before the season begins. Get yours today. Chatsports.com/NFL hats is where you can find these. Vince writes in, how much does the Cook and Zeke signings move the needles for their new teams? Let's start with the New York Jets and Dalvin Cook here. It is a big relief for this team because you were just getting Breece Hall back, okay? And Breece Hall, coming off the injury and everything, we don't know what he's going to look like, but it relieves the pressure, okay, where you're not having to rush him back or overwork him of some sorts. Also, if he doesn't look like the same running back that he was before, then you have Dalvin Cook there. So it's a huge relief for this New York Jets team to have Dalvin Cook there. Meanwhile, when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott, this signing, I think, for this Patriots team just gives them another option, gives them help in the short yardage game. I think it moves the needle more for the Jets than it does the Patriots here. I think the Jets, this could be the difference in some major playoff seeding. In the case for Zeke in the Patriots here, I still think the Patriots are some major steps away from being a force to be reckoned with, if that makes sense. Elite quarterback 45, will Hunter Renfrow get traded? If so, where will he go? Elite quarterback 45, great question as far as Hunter Renfrow goes. Hunter Renfrow, I'll look at it this way. I think that he's actually going to stay with the Las Vegas Raiders. There's not a huge market for Hunter Renfrow. And it sounds like that the Raiders were willing to take some calls, but just weren't getting very many offers. So, the Patriots seem like a team that would make a lot of sense. They need some receiver help, and he kind of fits what they've been looking for over the years, the Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker types. He would be a good fit there, but I don't think he's leaving Las Vegas. I think they're going to hold on to him at least for this year. What about you guys? Where will Hunter Renfrow play this season? Weigh in. Tell us what you think where Hunter Renfrow is going to go, or if he's going to stay right there in Las Vegas. Tell us what you think in the comment section on Hunter Renfrow and let us know. $5 super chat coming in from AT. AT writes, similar to Michael Orr, does Kyler Murray lose trade capital if he's traded after a new Call of Duty release? Do you think random news stories affect trades? That's an interesting question, AT. As far as Kyler Murray goes, the whole Call of Duty thing is interesting to me. The fact that all his performances after a Call of Duty game are just ridiculous. You know, how much he has stepped back and underperformed when those games have been released. I think teams know that. I think they're aware. But the bigger issue is not necessarily Call of Duty, but the fact that you look at with Kyler Murray of just that contract. Who's going to take that on? I think that's the bigger issue than what he does with the video game. But it is a fascinating story as far as that goes. AT, thanks for the question. Thanks for joining us here on NFL Daily. We'll see you next time.